Could the M12 installation driver save the day in certain situations? Well, today I'm going to try it in a project and I'll give you my thoughts. Have you ever been in such a tight spot where you're banging your knuckles on the side of the project that you're working on? Or maybe you have to have the screwdriver at such an angle to the head of the screw where you're ended up stripping the head of the screw and making a mess of it. Well, the M12 installation driver is supposed to be made for tight situations like this where it can help us to do these things. So let's give it a try and see how it works. Okay, the kit didn't come with any bits, but let me show you what it did come with. It came with this soft case, which has some pockets for batteries and things like that. It also has these straps to hold in the driver itself, and it has enough room for the little charger that it came with. Of course, it came with the driver itself, and it came with two of these M12 1.5 amp hour batteries. It came with this offset attachment, which is really what I bought it for, and it's easy to use. In order to put it on, you basically just pull this just like you would on an impact driver, and when you pull that, you can slip that on, and it just, when you let that go, it grabs. There it goes. So in order to detach it, see, you can't pull it off. In order to detach it, you have to pull that ring, then pull it off. It also came with this right angle attachment, which is another handy thing to have. I have had instances where I had to put some screws into something where I only had about that much room, and that would have been about perfect. So it also came with your standard drill chuck, and it attaches the same way, just like all the other attachments. And it came with just your standard attachment that you would see on, say, an impact driver. So pop it in, it's good to go. But if you want to get it out, you pull that forward and it slips right out. Finally, it came with the crappy little M12 battery charger that everybody hates so much. Maybe I'll send it to Clint from the Tool Review Zone because we know how much he loves these. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Let me introduce you to our project for today. Today's project involves this, a kitchen drawer. Simple enough. Some of you know that I'm a landlord, and one of the things that you'll find if you get into this business is that sometimes single ladies that you rent to will start dating man babies who haven't learned how to control their temper yet. And sometimes these man babies have tantrums. And one of the tantrums that I've found a lot is yanking the cupboard door, the front off of it, so it's no longer attached and it's just kind of hanging there or completely removed. So in this case, you can see that he cracked the wood here and here, and so I've already glued it, clamped it, let it set, and it seems to be okay, but I always like to reinforce this. Now usually what I would do is take another piece of wood right here and I would screw into here, or I would take the front off and screw this way into it, and then I would also screw into the sides. But having another board here takes away some of the room inside the cupboard drawer. So what I thought I would do instead is use some angle brackets. So what I've got here is some angle brackets that just have a couple holes in them, and these can go, and I thought we'd put maybe two in each of the front corners. So we'll have a total of 4 of these angle brackets. Hopefully that'll give this thing enough support. All right, guys, I think I'm going to go for 1/2 inch screws rather than 5/8 because you can see the 5/8 might just barely stick through, just a hair. So we'll go with 1/2 inch. All right, we have our little offset here. And because I'm going to start down here, I've got it set this way. But you can move this thing around by pulling this out and turning it however you want. But for now, since we're starting down in that bottom corner of the drawer, we're going to go something like that. Okay, this is not a perfect setup because the other end of the drill is literally hitting the other side of the drawer. Okay, we're just going to do one hole for now, just to see how that works. Pull out our drill bit, and we're going to put in our Phillips bit. I'm going to see if I can get this started with a hand screwdriver first, I guess. Because I can feel where it is better than I can see it with my vision. So someone with normal vision may not have to get the screw started with a hand screwdriver. We'll see what happens. It's not tight yet, but we'll see if we can get this on here squarely and see if we can finish it up. I think we'll finish up that one side, pull out our bit here, put in our drill bit. Again, it's kind of tight quarters for this. If I had a shorter bit, that might make it a little bit easier. This corner is even hard for me to get my fingers in, let alone tools. All right, back to the purpose of this thing. All right, we got one side of one corner bracket in. So far, this is not any easier than using a block of wood. I can tell you that much. Okay, we're gonna switch back, take our drill bit or our driver bit out, Phillips bit, and we are going to put in our drill bit. However, you can see it's not in the right position to drill the hole, so we need to pull this forward and pull that off, reposition it wherever we want it, and we'll try that. The drill bit got stuck. We're going to do both pilot holes at the same time for this one. It got stuck again. All right. Got our Phillips bit on there. Try the other screw. Since this was the really damaged corner, we're gonna take it slowly and do part. I'm not gonna like go whole hog on this. So drive this one in just a little bit more. I think that's pretty good. So we have one bracket installed. All right. I think we'll do a bracket near the top that'll be easier to get to. And if we choose to, we could go with a third one in the middle. So we'll go for the right on the top first. But now we have to switch out, take our Phillips bit again, put in our drill bit. And will this work out? Yeah, I don't think we have to switch that just yet. drive that in. Okay, we're going to take out our Phillips bit, and I think we'll see if we can drill all 3 of the next pilot holes all at one time. This thing, if it's magnetized at all, it's barely. Man, it must, yeah, it's magnetized, but it does not want to stay in there. All right, we got the next 2 screws, the ones that are in the front here, started. Let's get this lined up. The back of this is literally so close to the other side of the drawer that I can't even get my fingers in on it. Again, the bit came out. This time we're going to have to flip it around again. Let me try this. See what it gets, where it gets us. Might be a little bit easier to hold that way. Okay. All right. So that part is finished. All right, so that about takes care of the structural or functional part of the repair. Now we need to do some cosmetic work. Like, I, re- I really don't know what they were doing here. Were they trying to cut something? I don't know what they were doing. So, anyway, but I think what we can do is do some wood filler, sand it, another coat of wood filler, sand it, maybe 2 or 3 coats, then maybe 1 or 2 coats of white paint, and I think this thing will be looking pretty decent. So, good enough for something that'll be inside of the cabinet anyhow. So, what do we think of the M12 driver? So I also used this to install a small flagpole with a mount to a porch, and it was handy for that. It's nice and light. That's one of the things that I really like about it. So what else do I like about it? Well, it's got this magnetic plate here, so you can put bits or screws or whatever right to it, and so that's kind of handy. It reminds me of the Ryobi drills that have like the bigger batteries, so it's got this little tray that kind of sticks out under the handle, and so you could put things on that. It's the same concept. Actually, it's really nice. One thing that I liked that I didn't think of until it was too late is that you can actually use more than one attachment for this thing. So if you'll notice, you pull this off, and the front of the driver has the same attachment as the front of the other attachment. So I could do something like this, where you put And we'll put this one on here. Maybe something like that. Now that would have given me a lot more space between the butt of the drill driver to the other end. So that would have been handy to think of beforehand. So I do have some gripes. One of them is, as you may have noticed, the magnetism on this thing is not very strong at all. Several times when I was drilling my holes, when I'd pull it back out, it would just pull right out. It just does not take very much to do it, unfortunately. So I think it could use a stronger magnet. One thing that may not be so much of a gripe as maybe just a design choice is that if you try to set it down like this, it won't stay. It just falls over. But if you were to put some of the bigger battery packs, like say a 4 or 6 amp hour, which it didn't come with, it came with these two little ones. If you were to put the bigger ones on there, it might stand up, but unfortunately, that might also pose an issue because if you're working on something that is delicate and you put it up there and it's not very well balanced and it falls over, it could scratch something. So maybe that's a design choice by Milwaukee. I don't know. I don't know if there would be a good way to do it, but this light does not really illuminate something up here very well because it's kind of in the shadow when it's in that position. But I don't know if there would be a good way to have like an electrical connection between the driver and the different attachments so you could have lights on the attachments. But if that was possible, that would be nice. If you saw my video from a couple years ago about the M12 drill driver, I think it was called something like "This drill makes no sense for me." Well, my complaint with this is similar, although it's not as bad. With the other one, you pull the trigger, it whines, and then all of a sudden it's almost full speed. There is no just let's just turn it a little bit. Well, this one it's kind of similar. You can, no matter whether you have it in one or two, you just you pull the trigger and it's gonna make this high pitched noise and eventually it'll go. That's about as slow as you can get it to go, which is not terrible, but it's still not quite as controllable as my cheapo Ryobi drill. Again, similar to my comment from that video, especially with something like this, where it's meant to be using in delicate situations with smaller, more delicate fasteners, you would think that this would be the one that would have all that control. But I don't know, it's not bad. And my final gripe is not so much about the tool itself, but the battery platform. If you'll notice, most tool batteries have a gauge right on the battery so you know how much charge is left. Not with the M12. Oh no, you can't just pick it up and be like, oh, I'm good to go. You have to pick it up and put it in either a charger, and if it's green, you look at it and say, okay, good, I'm good to go. If it's red, you don't know if it's 90%, if it's 50%, or 5%. Well, to me that's annoying. You can put it into something like this and you can see the gauge on the side. But why? Why Milwaukee? Why don't we just put a gauge right on the battery itself? I mean, seriously, you got to be buying these things in bulk. What does it cost you? 2 cents? There you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.